There we go. Okay, there we go. Yep, now it works. Yeah, when I set it up in OBS, the new layout, I forgot to add the mic feed back into that setup. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take it from the top so that I'll have a clean recording when I put it back up later. Hi, I'm Clint. Welcome to... No, it's not. I was about to say Swatches. It's not Swatches. I'm Clint, and welcome to Vibrance livestream number 6. We're talking about what you talk about. And what you talk about says a lot about you. So if you're watching this in recording, take a look for the timestamp down in the description. I'll jump you right to the main content. For those joining the video live, then we'll leave a couple of minutes for people to join in and get situated before we get kicked off. So if you want to have a comment directed right to me right here for the next couple of minutes, feel free to do that. Put @Swatches in your comments. It will flag it and I will know that is to me. We will also have some time at the end for a Q&A. Otherwise, in the main discussion portion, I will just be speaking through all of that and will not be taking questions or comments during that time. But how's it going, everybody? John, Grand Golem, good to see you. Federico. All right, yeah, we got the sound problem taken care of. And yeah, I've adjusted the screen here. I think this will be a lot better. Split up between... Basically, we have the, yeah, it's mirrored, that's right. You have the text on that side, that's right. And then just a centered part with the screen. Why so low res? I assume that's your internet, because I'm streaming in 1280 by 720. I mean, I'm streaming in the normal resolution, so not sure what's going on there. Yeah, check to make sure. You might need to restart the feed. Maybe you're just having a slow connection. Okay, why so low? Good, Rico, John. All right, we have 14 in here. That's good. I'll just probably give one more minute. So, if you are new to the stream, then my name is Clint Cearley. I'm an illustrator and art educator by trade. But Vibrance is a group where we tackle the habits, health, and attitudes and related topics that deal with moving better quality into our pursuits, art for myself, and just life quality in general. We do weekly streams on Wednesdays about 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Join the Facebook group at www.vibrance.group in order to get the exact time of what the stream will be that particular week. Sometimes, due to my calendar, I have to adjust it an hour here or there. Federico, yeah, somebody's trying to upstage you. But I know you were first, man. I know you were first. All right, well, I think we've delayed enough. Of course, this was going to be recorded, so it will be able to be watched later. All right, so where's my OBS? And let's switch over. All right, that is weird. I don't know how it dropped the audio. I keep going those backwards. Yeah, I don't know how it dropped the audio. I've never had it drop the audio before like that. That's weird. All right, can you hear me now? No. Yeah, all right. So, yeah, mess around with OBS. You're going to get some weird problem. All right, I guess we'll restart that. Yeah, I'll be chopping this one all up before I put it back up on internet. So, here we go. I'm going to move these out of the way so I'm not getting that feed right behind me. It's a little weird having the feed of you coming up on your screen. Ricardo, good to see you. Melon, Hirano. All right, so let's kick it off again. What we're talking about this week is watch your mouth. What you talk about says a lot about you. Now, watch your mouth, that was just kind of a clever thing I tried to come up with. And so, it was inspired by this book shout out to Top 10 Distinctions Between Millionaires and the Middle Class by Keith Cameron Smith. I picked this up, about 10 years ago at a used bookstore. I didn't know anything about it, but it is a short read. As you can see, it's a little book. It's not much. But he has a packed full of good information and tips in here. And what I want to do is talk about one of them. And it goes on to some other stuff that really deals with what we're talking about here. We're not necessarily talking about only millionaires and the middle class. We're not just talking about income levels. But this could be applied to essentially any area that you want a lot of achievement in. So I do suggest picking this book up. I don't know if it's still in print or not, but if you can pick it up, it's a good little book to read. And that is one that I have been reading in the evenings. So what he's talking about is essentially 3 tiers: the poor, the middle class, and the millionaire. Or if you want to say it in terms of achievement, somebody has very low achievement, small achievement level, average achievement in their lives versus a high achiever. This could be in business, this could be in sports, this could be in art or industry, whatever it is, the low, medium, and high tier of it. So, the poor or low achieving talk about people, problems, and gossip. The middle class or average achievers, they talk about events, things, and entertainment. Well, millionaires or high achievers will generally speak about ideas, solutions, and opportunities. What you talk about says a lot about where your head is, where your heart is, and eventually where you will go into the future. Are there outliers? Are there exceptions to this? Of course there are. There always are. So don't feel the need to cite the exceptions to me. I know they exist. But by and large, this I see as true. And in his experience of over 20 years of business, he sees it as true as well. You hang around the people that are on the poor end of the scale, that don't achieve much in whatever their field is, and they talk about people a lot of gossip. They don't talk about ideas. They don't talk about solutions. They don't talk about opportunities. Where on the other hand, that's what these do a lot. Millionaires, high achievers, they're constantly focused on how to improve. They're constantly figuring out how to solve problems. They're talking about opportunities. So maybe they do talk about other people, but it's in regards to, oh, Joe. You know what's up with Joe? Yeah, Joe started this new business. Oh, yeah, what's he do? Well, he does this and this. Oh, that's a cool solution. I wonder if he's considered getting this and combining it with that other business and doing like a collaboration. I don't know. So you can talk about a person so that it is in terms of ideas and opportunities, but it's not about the person themselves. Well, that's where you get gossip, right? So I want you to just evaluate yourself. What do you talk about a lot? And what do you talk about pretty much at all? And then what is the heart behind that? And what does that say for your direction? And if you have the opportunity to hang around people that are really high achievers in whatever field it is, whatever avenue in their life, pay attention to what they talk about. If they talk about really cool stuff and ideas and they're high achievers, maybe if you want that same sort of results in your life, do what they do. I mean, that's pretty obvious. You want the same thing, You do what they do. So this is ancient knowledge, all right? And as a verse, Matthew 12:34, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. This is not some new age thing. This isn't something I came up with on the top of my head or this guy. This knowledge has been around for thousands of years, all right? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Whatever there's a lot of in here, that's what you talk about. And I think about a little kid, right? So a little kid, maybe he's obsessed with space, all right? And he just loves looking at books about outer space and the space station and colonizing Mars. And hey, I like all that stuff. I'll talk about that stuff too. But you can get really obsessed with it, right? So the abundance in his heart at that time is about space exploration. And what are you going to hear him talk about all the time? Space exploration. And, you know, little kids, they'll just go on and on and on and on about it. And they'll throw you all kinds of ideas and facts and figures and you know, anything to do with it. And they'll talk about it. But it goes for everything, even for us adults. What do we have an abundance of in our lives? Because that's what we talk about. And it goes vice versa. We want to know what's in here a lot? Pay attention to what you talk about. Do you talk about other people? Then that means you're focused a lot on other people and stuff around you rather than your own life. And it could be good things. It could be bad things. Think about it. You have a filthy mouth. You talk about a lot of bad things. It's not a good reflection. Because out of the abundance of the heart. All right, next up, complaining. Talking about some of the bad stuff that comes out, complaining. When you complain about a problem, then you're giving focus to the problem. You're spending your time and your effort and this opportunity. Your mouth is the opportunity to give focus to things in your life. Your mouth is an action. Like we talked about in the previous week, first you have the thought, then you have an action, and then you create a habit. What you talk about a lot creates a verbal habit. So, if you're giving a verbal habit of complaining, that's not good because that starts defining who you are and it starts changing the trajectory of where you go in life. Now, when you give focus to problems and you're spending all your time talking about them, what are you not doing? You're not talking about the solution. As long as you're busy complaining about the problem, you're not talking about the solution. You're focusing on the problem and not how to resolve it. So it's much better to talk about solutions. And you can talk about problems in order to work through them and figure out what the answer is. But don't just talk about them to talk about them. Don't wallow in them. Don't give them that extra time unless you intend to beat them by breaking down a strategy to overcome it. Next, high achievers are problem-solving idea crowd. High achievers, you take a look at the people at the top, all right? Maybe Bill Gates and even high-level athletes. They have to problem solve. What can I do in order to get that result? How do I fix this problem? How can I take off, one second off of my mile run? And then they have to think about it and find solutions to it and believe that it can be done and find those answers. They are problem-solving people. They are idea people. The same is true with artists. So, a lot of artists watch this channel because that's what we cover. And the high-end people, we try to problem solve. We look at their artwork. What's wrong with it? How can I fix it? What are some ideas of how to resolve these problems? All right, next up. Ideas are proactive. People and things are reactive. So there's a distinguishing element there. So people and things, when you talk about them, you're talking in the reactionary, because you don't have any control over other people. And majorly, you don't have control over things, even like, oh, new technology, that sort of stuff. Whereas ideas are proactive, opportunities are proactive, and solutions can be proactive. And we want to be proactive people. We want to steer our lives rather than just be sitting in our little boat and let the tide take us wherever. So ideas are proactive. Next one up, what you focus on expands. We'll probably talk about that more in, an entire video, but this is also a very true statement. What you focus on expands. You put a lot of attention into building muscle, and guess what? You'll build more muscle. I say that because I've been going to the gym a lot recently, and I've been putting more attention into the diet of what I'm eating and my sleeping pattern, putting more attention into what workouts that I'm doing, and you know what? Those results are expanding. I'm getting stronger in those areas. And the same goes for pretty much anything. The more attention you put into it, the more it expands. And it also goes the wrong way, which is the more attention you put onto bad things by complaining about them, the problem seems to get bigger. So, with complaining, problems always exist. I'm not saying that they ever go away, but they're kind of like internet trolls. Be aware of them, but don't feed them. All right, little things always come up and big things come up. But you get to decide how much attention they're given. Give them enough attention so that you know what you're dealing with, that you fully understand the problem. But don't give them more than that. Do not feed them, because if you do that, you're giving them attention. And if you give attention to something, it expands and you don't need the problem bigger. As soon as you understand what's going on, then you start talking about solutions and you start talking about ideas. So that is, in a nutshell, what we're talking about in this episode. From poor, middle class, millionaire, small achievement, average achievement, high achievement. A good indicator of where you're going, where you're at, or other people around you. Pay attention to what they're talking about. You need to think about also what crowd you're hanging around. If the people that you're spending a lot of time around all the time are just gossiping and talking about, the latest TV show, or just, your friend circle or celebrities, that's not a great group. There are some friends that I have. We are idea people. We get together. We're constantly talking about books and ideas and how to improve our lives and how to improve our characters. And it is just really great to hang around these people. And I feel like every time I'm around them, I feel a little stronger. I feel like I can do more. Well, that is it for this week. I appreciate you joining me. So now the only thing left to do is talk about the challenge. Challenge this week is no complaining this week. You have to pay $1 to anyone who catches you doing it. That is, of course, complaining. So watch what you say. Talk about ideas and solutions, opportunities, if you can, if you have that opportunity. Depends what's going on in your life. But you don't have to complain about anything. Complaining about it does not help. Pay attention to who you're around. Pay attention to the conversations of the people around. And see if you can't better your conversation topics so that they're more meaningful and they help direct your life in a better direction. All right, so now it's open to Q&A. If you guys want to toss me some questions, either about what this is or anything else to do with the Vibrance topics, or if you guys got some art questions, we can take those as well. Moo says, I don't know anyone like that, high achievers. I'm with you in that there are some circles, and depending how old you are and where your station is in life, it's not necessarily easy. You could you could look for like small business organizations in your town, depending on the size of the town. A lot of them do have that. Or an entrepreneur meetup group in your city. And those can be good places to find people who are really motivated and idea people. And so I would suggest checking those out. Otherwise, if you're more remote, you don't have access to that sort of thing, then at least look for YouTube streams of people who are like that. There is a lot of great motivational speakers and business speakers out on YouTube. So follow their channels, listen to what they talk about, and use that as sort of a stand-in until you can build in a good group of high-achieving, motivated friends to circle around you. Hironio says, sometimes it's better just to do something and not to think too much. Yeah, I agree. Overthinking usually doesn't help that much. And it's similar to what we talked a while back about eliminating buffer time. And that has to go to overthinking as well. So I would concur that if you see a problem and you can consider a solution that's a decent solution, it's better most of the time just to go do it, rather than sitting around a long time and thinking about it and breaking it down and coming up with maybe another solution that's 2% better. If you can resolve it and just move on, then resolve it and move on. You don't need the added stress. Hirono says, I'm a geologist and am all the time around engineers. They are solution searchers. Sorry for my native speaker. Oh, no, I totally understand what you say. Yeah, engineers would need to be solution searchers. Absolutely, because you can't sit around and just talk about engineering problems and those resolve themselves. You have to really understand what's going on and generate a hard plan in order to deal with it. All right, what else? Anybody else have any more comments? I will personally say that I've really enjoyed the last challenge of the half-hour reading every day. I was not in great health for a couple of days, so I did skip like 2 days. I did not feel well, and I went to bed early. But the rest of the time, it was good. It's a good practice, and I'm going to try to continue doing that. I reread this book during that time, and I read some more on another book. And that is one of the... Also, if you want to talk about habits of high achievers, they read more. They read way more. That's one of the characteristics that they are known by, is being readers more than watchers. There is a difference between reading words and just listening to them on a screen. I think it goes through an extra level of recognition and sort of puts it into the brain more. So, if you want to pick up some better habits, start reading a bit more. All right. Well, if there's not going to be any more comments, then I will wrap it up early. But I do want to be here to answer questions or comments if people have them. Of course, I will put this out on... the challenge will be put out on the Facebook group so that everybody will understand what it is. And you can go out there and remind yourself. Yeah, remind yourself, I guess. Also, please invite others to join the group. It is Vibrance.group, or have them come back and watch some of the videos. This one will be a little late getting posted because I need to cut out those sections where I accidentally had it muted. So it'll probably go up tomorrow or maybe Friday sometime, just for a heads up on that. And we should be good to stream next week as well, probably the same time. 7 p.m. works well for me. Comment says, I think you really can be profound of yourself. What do you when you are confronted with a problem? Well, it really depends on the problem. First, I want to understand what the problem is and then kind of decide what some possible solutions are. Personally, I find that just jotting down some things that I can do to deal with it, making a list, makes it very tangible, gives me more control, and then I can just start working down that list. I'm a list guy. I try to keep as much as I can in here, but I don't, so that's why I write it down. Also looking for Occam's razor, of course. You're looking for the simplest answer is often the best one. So, Federico, if we have any late question, where can we post our questions? You always feel free to post questions out on the Vibrance Facebook group. I'm not going to promise that I will be able to get to it immediately. There's a lot of other things that I have to get to. But if you put it out there, I will try to address it if I can, because we don't actually get that many questions. Yeah. Okay, well, it looks like we've wrapped up this topic, and I appreciate everybody joining for this shorter stream. And we will be having another stream for the Swatches Art Challenge and live stream paint overs next Monday. That will probably be 6 or 7 p.m. You can join the Swatches group as well for updated information on that screen time. And that's it for now. Thank you, everyone, and I will catch you next time.